Welcome back to Texas Rangers with the Boys. We are the Boys, your daily Texas Rangers podcast by a couple of pro wrestlers who love Rangers baseball. And guess what, guys? The streak is alive. Your Texas Rangers, your World Series defending champion Texas Rangers are still in first place as far as our show is concerned. The streak is alive. Rangers win. We're going to talk today about some roster moves, some really cool injury update type stuff, and of course, we got two amazing box scores. This is your boy Kevin, aka YBK Kevin Frazier. If you want to hear me talk about the Texas Rangers on social media, you can find me at Kevin Lee Frazier. That's Frazier. If you want to find Texas Rangers with the Boys on social media, that is TX Rangers WTB. And don't forget to check us out on our website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
All in word?
Yes, sir. And joining me, my co-host and the man of the hour, the TikTok maestro. So I'm going to let him tell you about our TikTok. The 300-pound manimal, a.k.a. Bull. How you doing, buddy? Where can they find you on socials?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Oh, okay. See that? Look, we had that. We got it. We got that down. No, I'm hanging in there. I by no means of any TikTok anything. I barely understand how to open the app on my phone-based smart device. So I just kind of, pass it along down the totem pole, and James does all that because
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I mean, I barely, like I said, barely. Like once upon a time, I was doing some stuff. I can get back to it here in a little while. I had some dramatic stuff happen in my traumatic, both maybe.
Some things and some
Some
stuff.
stuff happened. Like I haven't felt like doing some stuff recently. It happens. But I did mow my lawn. I'm in my lawn's mowed, so the neighbors can't be too upset with me. So I mean, I'm getting back on it. Like I haven't really kept up nearly as much with baseball over the last month or so, and I felt a little bit bad about it and all of that. But at the same time, I don't. Like baseball is very secondary to me right now. As much as I love the Rangers, and you know that I do, and I'll continue to talk about the Rangers, and I watch as often as I can. But some days baseball doesn't seem that important to me anymore, and and it will at some point, and it'll be back to that point. But the last couple of months, I haven't been as maybe good as I should have been for the show, but I'll get back to that, and we'll get it back together more. And the Down on the Farm show will be back on an every week basis for sure at some point in this in the season, and probably in this next month. I just have had some time, and Kevin had a day where he was sick, and that didn't help for the Down on the Farm, and so we'll get back to that. But bear with me a little bit. It's been a rough couple of months for me, and I'll get that back together. But we're doing pretty good over here at the old Manimal House, and we're trying our best to get through these days. And you want to find me on the social medias, X, Twitter, whatever you call it these days, at Manimal Bull, Instagram Manimal 300, and both Facebook and TikTok at Bull Pro. So whatever your favorite platform of the social media is, find me on there. We'll talk about the Rangers. We'll talk about a W last night, because that was a bunch of fun. The bats kind of started getting going after a long night with Logan Gilbert. Huh? It felt like a long night that he had. I wouldn't say their number, but he was really tuned in and dialed in, and had some good stuff. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Before we get started, I have to do the bill paying. I got to tell everybody about Matt War Pro at the Southside Preservation Hall Friday, May 24th. The calendar next week will turn over into May, and then we'll just be a couple of weeks away from Matt War Pro Slam and Destroy 2, May 24th, the Southside Preservation Hall in Fort Worth, Texas. It's just right there south of Interstate Highway 30. The physical address is on Lipscomb, but it's somewhere between Rosedale and Allen, and I'd say John Peter Smith and the neighborhoods over there in the South Side Historic District over there.
Man, honestly, just roll up Hemp Hill. When you get to the skate park, you're there. It's right there.
It's right there across the street from the new skate park. It's going to be
on
a
the
big
same
time.
side of the street.
Yeah, they're right there. Yeah, I mean,
right there.
And just look for the Big Dog's hot dog truck,
Woo!
the Kelly's onion burgers. Find them, and you'll be in the right spot. Get you a burger, get you some fries, head on in, get you a front row seat for some hard hitting pro wrestling. And once you got that hot dog and hamburger down, go on back, find the Starry ice cream lady, get you a little bit of that Starry's ice cream, and make it a great night. And wash it all down with some Martin House beer, because Martin House Brewing will be in the back. They'll be giving away beer to anyone 21 and up, not 18. I said that a couple of weeks ago. My bad. 21 and up. I don't know the age. I'm old. I'm old now. No one asks me anymore what it is. I'm like double the drinking age now. It's not cool. But anyways, whatever. We'll plan on seeing you out there Friday, May 24th at the Southside Preservation Hall for Slam and Destroy 2. Now, the bills have been paid. Let's talk about some professional baseball, particularly the Texas Rangers.
All Rangers today. We got so much to talk about. We're just going to go right into it.
Busy.
Yeah, busy team, and you love to see it. So Rangers make a couple of signings, so to speak, here with the open roster spot. They're picking up Colton Ingram. Tell us about Colton Ingram for those of us who are not familiar.
Lefty. He's had trouble in the with control, but when he's in the strike zone, he's really good. I would say he's the type of person that while Brock Burke is on this 60-day IL, he's going to get an opportunity to throw out that bullpen the way the carousel's kind of been going. And if he can put himself in a position to take over that spot that Brock Burke had been not doing in the first place,
yeah.
You know, I mean, Colton Ingram, he's got an opportunity to make this team. I can't guarantee he will. You know, hey, I wanted Spencer Howard to come back and work out of the bullpen last year for the Rangers, and it didn't work either. So they'll probably be a pretty short leash once they start to get healthy. But Colton Ingram, waiver claim from the Mets, they just didn't have room on their 40-man. The Rangers had a spot that was open. They've been running a pitching carousel through the bullpen basically all season anyways. Why not Colton Ingram? It's not going to hurt any Rangers fan at all if Colton Ingram gets designated in the next couple of weeks. So, it's not like one of those things. The Rangers, they had an open roster spot. Take advantage of it. Put another pitcher on the 40-man. He's probably already at Round Rock, and he'll have an opportunity to, pitch down there and get himself in a spot to be a big leaguer, maybe. Well, if he gets outs.
He's really only had a few appearances at the major league level. And they weren't that successful, but I don't think that's something to be overly concerned with. But what the upside is on all of this is 11 Ks per 9.
Yes.
In the minor leagues, about four walks per 9.
That's the concern is the walks. You don't want to see him putting a bunch of guys on base, but the strikeouts per 9 is a very, what'd you say, 11.9, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good total. And if you can get that walk total down closer to 2, he could have a chance. And I mean, he's going to get an opportunity probably at some point in the next month or so with the big club, just based on what they've got and what they have on the 40-man roster.
Yeah, he doesn't give up a lot of a lot of hits either, and really not a lot of like hard contact either. I mean, he doesn't have a ton in the minor leagues, which he compiled about 150 games in the minors. He only gave up 14 home runs, so he wasn't I mean, in the minors, he was a pretty successful guy at the minor league level. 250 Ks to 203 innings, didn't give up a lot of hits. But like you said, the walks is the big thing. But again, he hasn't had a ton of experience at the major league level, and the walks weren't a huge, at least don't seem like they were a huge issue at the at the minor league level too much. Maybe kind of what you've kind of talked about, and I've learned as these guys go up in the minor league systems, the walks start to creep up more and more and more. And maybe that has been an issue for him because you can see it kind of climb as he went up the levels.
And he's also, I mean, he's a four-seam cutter, slider, sweeper, changeup guy. So he throws 5 pitches. He's one of those lefties that he's very similar to Brock Burke in the fact that he has good extension and he gets good whiff on when he's in the strike zone. But he's just one of those guys that he hasn't had a big enough sample size to see what he's going to do at the big league level, but he hasn't performed well enough to get himself in those spots to be a big leaguer yet. And he may or may not get an opportunity here, but I mean, I think it's worth an opportunity or worth a shot to put a guy on your 40-man that fits a need for your team right now, being a left-handed reliever.
Like it. The next pickup that I'd also like, I think these are great. These signings to me are always great because there's really no downside to it. Johnny Cueto, minor league deal, wasn't very good last year, but a couple years ago, he wasn't bad. I mean, he wasn't great, but I mean, he certainly, like, his earned run average was not bad. I mean, and I mean, let's just be honest, like, Cueto's, he's a Dominican guy. These guys age at a different speed than everybody else do. I don't know if being in Florida for a few years, I was around a ton of people that came from the Caribbean, and it's like they just age slower there for
that on island time, right?
I don't know what it is, man, but like they just age slower than anybody else does. I liked it. 38's not bad. I don't think the age is the big deal. It's more like
let's be honest, if everything goes right, we won't see him pitch one time at the big league level at all this year. I mean, whenever you're bringing guys up right and left in the from the AAA team, and that means that you've got spots on your AAA team that you need to fill rotation wise, and nobody was signing Johnny Cueto to play in the major leagues. He missed all of spring training. He wasn't with any club there. Nobody was going to give him an opportunity to pitch in the big leagues. If he comes back and he's just flawless at the AAA level and he's just a workhorse or whatever, and you can see that he's got a little something left in him, he may get an opportunity to pitch in the back of the bullpen or the front of the bullpen, really. And he's also the type of guy that, I mean, airing it out, he probably can still go 98 with his fastball, and he's a veteran guy. But best case scenario is he's a veteran depth piece at AAA. And if he's really good, then he'll be up. But worst case scenario is the Rangers, have another starter that can pitch in the big leagues if things get to a point where they need to do that.
Yeah. and we're going to talk about some injury news as well. One thing that we haven't talked a whole lot off air about, but I'll bring Johnny Cueto up here in just a little bit again. But before we go into the kind of starting into injuries and team moves, as we saw in the game last night, Grant Anderson, he's back up at the big league level. Looked pretty good last night too.
Well, no pressure. It's
Right.
5-1 ball game. There's nothing there,
Austin Pruitt, looks like Austin Pruitt's hitting the IL. I think this is just Rangers trying to hold on to, use him, but hold on to him if they can, just for keep an extra arm out there. But
Yeah, I think it gives the opportunity when Spores comes back, you can send Grant Anderson back down, and Pruitt doesn't automatically, end his tenure with the Rangers. Because the moment that he's DFA'd, I think that's the end of his time probably with the Rangers. I don't know that anyone's going to sign him. I just don't know that he takes an outright back to Round Rock.
right.
There might be a better spot for him, AAA wise, or with a different team that can get him back to the big leagues at a better clip or something like that. But Austin Pruitt, I guess we're talking really just ineffectiveness, right? Probably. I mean, if you ask me why he's on the, and like the scenario we just kind of played out, it hasn't been very good for him. It gives them a chance to keep him around and keep Grant Anderson around with that situation. And it could end up being one of those Brad Miller type moves to, get him a payday for the whole year, but we don't see Austin Pruitt again. I don't know. I mean, I doubt that's the case. I mean, but yeah, Anderson, Pruitt, they're both shaky and questionable at times. And, Anderson last night, no real pressure on the situation. I thought he did a good enough job to get him through that ninth inning without having to put any innings on Yates, in a game that wasn't in a save situation anymore. But we'll see what happens with Pruitt. But yeah, I imagine that Grant Anderson will be that move whenever Spores is called back up.
So let's get to the main news here. I would say, man, aside from the box score, this is probably the big one. It has been the big news, really, as far as non-game related news for the Rangers for the last week or so, or probably a couple of weeks. And I'm gonna pop off camera. I'm still here, but I'm gonna serve it up to you here. So Max Scherzer pitched at Round Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Max Scherzer pitched at Round Rock. So how did that go for him?
Yeah, I mean, not great. It wasn't. It was a rehab start. I mean, he was going out there to throw his probably between 50. I think he threw 50 pitches, right at 50 pitches. So it was basically there to get him in front of live batting, to get him in the baseball field, to get him back in the routine of how he would make his starts. And for the most part, I don't think that anybody was looking for statistics out of it. I know he gave up a handful of hits and a couple of runs, 2 or 3 runs, over 2 and 2 and 2 thirds. But it was literally about getting him back out there, getting his timing right, getting everything kind of starting to go in that right direction for him to make outings for the big club.
Well, by the way, I didn't look at the statistics, but by the way, the guys on the broadcast yesterday were talking like he was out there whiffing everybody. So
He did.
His numbers were good.
Yeah, no, I don't know about whiffing everybody, but he did start the game with a strikeout. Overall, we don't need to talk about what happened to Round Rock, but yeah, no. Scherzer 2 1/3, 5 hits, 3 earned. He did have the 4 strikeouts. He also gave up 2 home runs. But overall, it was more about him getting out there, getting back into that field, getting his preparation right for making a start. And I would imagine next week on Tuesday, depending on, I think Round Rock is in Albuquerque and Frisco is in Corpus Christi, I believe, next week. So you'll probably see him make a start next week in Corpus Christi before the Rangers go out on the road. and then I don't know, maybe monitor him there. He may make a start that next week, possibly that Oakland doubleheader. I would think that might be a situation where you might see it is that Oakland doubleheader that's scheduled in there.
Nice. Well, that's the big news that we got here. We do have some other injury updates. It looks like Josh Young is going to be meeting with the surgeon.
Yeah, Friday, which is what, tomorrow. So we'll know more about this on Monday when we get back from the weekend. But he's going to meet with the surgeon tomorrow. And as long as everything is looking right, he should be able to start getting a timetable for his return as well. As much as I've dug Josh Smith and what he's done over there at third base, I would love to have Josh Young and his bat back in the lineup.
Oh yeah, and I
Especially
can't.
the way he was starting the season, it was going to be something else. But yeah, I think when he gets the full green light to go, he's going to be ready to go. He's probably chomping at the bit right now.
No, I know he's after his interviews and just what we've heard from him. Yeah, he's ready to roll. Josh, you personally got to see Josh Spores.
Hug around for it.
So how did he look?
The old Sporsy. Yeah, I think he was on a hard pitch count. I mean, 17 pitches, 3 batters, struck 2 of them out. Guy hit a soft line drive out into right field. Nothing nothing to worry about. Cardoza got him right after the third batter though, so he was on a pretty strict less than 20 pitches. Bochy said yesterday that, hey, we're going to meet with Spores, see how he's feeling. Then we'll get an idea from there. You may see one more rehab assignment tonight, maybe with one day off. So tonight, maybe with Spores to get one more round, maybe get him up to 3 full outs or a full inning to no matter what kind of happens. Maybe if it is 20 to 22 pitches, 25 pitches, something like that, if it takes it. But yeah, for the most part, he looked good. He was sitting about 95, 96. And, slider was 88 to 91. And then the curveball was 78. I thought it was kind of funny that the first batter he faced, the Sod Poodles are a Arizona Diamondbacks organization. So he struck the first guy out with a curveball, and it was pretty much the same way Ketel Marte looked at that curveball too. And it was a good one, just like the one he threw to close out the World Series. So I don't know if there was any meant for that or anything like that, but the curveball looked fantastic. And it's always special out there at Dr. Pepper ballpark when one of the guys has got the clean white pants on.
Oh yeah,
because they look so much better than those Round Rock cheap ones that those guys wear.
Well, let me give my 2 cents here. Probably nothing to it, but when you told me that Bradford had an injection in his back, I kind of thought the Bradford thing was kind of one of those deals where like it was a depth roster move. I really didn't think he was like hurt.
Well, that was the idea at the beginning, right? That was.
Let me give my full.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't think much of it. I thought, oh well, I guess they're on the long trip. They're trying to roster stuff. I've learned they do roster stuff, and I thought, hey, he's not really hurt. Maybe he's a little tight or something. But I heard he got an injection. That was like kind of like, oh wow, he got an injection. Like, all right. So to me, and maybe I'm totally off the wall here, but getting Johnny Cueto at the same time that we're hearing the Bradford's back thing is a thing. I mean, maybe it is an insurance kind of thing, just in case.
Well, it's always been that.
Right.
Just in case.
Well, it up to that point, I didn't think there was. a need for Cueto, but then you see these things kind of happen simultaneously. I wonder if maybe one has to do with the other, but either way, Cody Bradford has an injection in his back. That's
well, originally it was when his 15 days are up, he would be back.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking he was coming off the 11th, and then tomorrow is the 25th, and you would say what? Let's see. Friday would be his first available day to come off of the injured list. And after you hear that he gets an injection just a couple of days ago, you're not thinking that he's going to come off of the IL right at the 15-day mark, but there's still a chance that he does. There's still a chance that he makes a start in this Cincinnati series. But you're also getting to a point now where Lorenzen's healthy, Lorenzen's in the rotation, and you're about to get Scherzer back into the rotation. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have some, a little bit of excess, I don't know, a little bit more room to maneuver with if you're Bochy, especially talking about starting pitching, because they've been so strapped kind of through this first of the year. And then now he's, here in a couple of weeks, when he gets Scherzer back healthy, he's going to have maybe even more starting pitching than he, was expecting to have at this time of the year for sure. And the idea that, Leiter's on the waiting in the wings, and Owen White had a pretty good start the other night at Round Rock. So things are kind of, shifting where you're starting to feel a little bit better about starting pitching. Whereas, 2 weeks ago, the starting pitching was holding up, and the starting pitching has done great. The starting pitching has been fantastic. Dunning, outside of an 0-2 pitch that he grooved right down the middle. Other than that, the starting pitching, I thought John Gray, you'd have liked to have seen him get 5 innings, but he maneuvered around a lot of trouble and ended up only giving up the 1 earned. So the starting pitching, as much as it's been kind of rough and a little bit tough, sledding for Bochy and Maddox and the guys trying to put together the rotation for a little while. They've done a really good job with it, and then the guys in the rotation have really kept the Rangers in games and given them opportunities to win on a lot of nights where those guys didn't have their good stuff for sure.
Yeah, so that gets us through the kind of news and notes, injuries and movement or moves part of the show. So let me just take a quick second to tell you guys about our exclusive content. It's called Down on the Farm with the Boys. That's us, where we cover all things Rangers, minor league. Basically, we do our top 10 players of the week, and we'll use that to go around the minor leagues and talk to you about each different minor league level. There's a lot going on in the minor leagues right now, and a lot of moves being made, especially if we're talking about AAA. So if you want to learn more about this team, especially the players that are going to be making their names at the major league level, then you'll want to go over to our website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
Oh, word.
Or you can go to our Spotify page. It's just $1.99 per month. You can make us your one-stop shop for all things Rangers, organization-wide. So go check it out. You won't regret it. Another episode should be dropping this week. All right. Well, we got box scores.
And what do you want to talk about? The 3 hits?
Well, honestly, I know it's not. I thought Logan Gilbert, man, the funny thing was that he walked the most people he's ever walked in his career, but he still was like on the corners, just painting corners, man. Like the first couple of times he painted the corner with the fastball, I was like, man, he's those are pretty good pitches, but you kind of think a little bit luck, like, okay, but man, all night, man, he was just painting, wow. And it's like you watch him throw and he knows he can do that. He's not like It wasn't him having a good night. Like this
No.
is
That's
what
what you get. Yeah, that's what you get on most nights with him on the mound. He's bound to get, got here occasionally once in a while.
wasn't he my Cy Young? I think he was my Cy Young.
I don't know.
He's one of the Mariners guys to be Cy
I
Young.
don't know. I know your National League Cy Young is already on the injured list for the year, so I'll let you
That's
have
half
this
the pitchers in the league.
regardless. But I'll let you have this one. So, but yeah, no, Gilbert, he's kind of like that every time out. He's got that kind of stuff where every night out he could give you that 6 2/3, couple of hits, couple of walks. I know he had a couple more than he normally has last night, but that's a testament to the Rangers guys. They go in there and they make guys work and they make pitchers work. Even if you have as brilliant a stuff as Logan Gilbert had last night, you're not going to go in there on 100 pitches and get them 9 innings and roll right through that lineup over and over and over again. Even if you do have that phenomenal stuff. And the Rangers had a couple of chances. The leadoff double from Nate Lowe, and nothing really happened from there. But yeah, they had a couple of opportunities, but overall, Gilbert really kind of shut the door after anything opened up at all. And their bullpen. Stanek got him out of that 7th inning there, where it was kind of, it maybe that much of a threat. And then Spire's pretty good. I like him. And then that Munoz guy, I'd never seen him before. Interesting stuff. I thought the Rangers might get a little something going off of him, but he shut that down real quick.
Well, it was Kirby was my Seattle. I knew I picked the Mariners.
Yeah. Well, I think he's off to a pretty good start too, so it's not like.
Yeah. Well, good thing we don't see both of them. Well, okay, I'll tell you, honestly, the highlight of this game, because there weren't that many Ranger highlights for this one. Highlight of this game was like the old comfortable feeling of Nate Lowe going opposite field, man. Like that kind of was like the feel good. It was like the feel good moment of the game, because it was just like, to me, it was like prototypical, quintessential Nate Lowe, not trying to do too much with the ball. And God, don't you think the team could take a little page out of that right now, just in general, just like
I think the first guy that makes me think should do that a little bit is Josh Smith. Dude is just swinging out of his shoes every at bat right now. And I know he's playing third base or whatever, and they're trying to get him to produce or whatnot, but like Josh Smith in an 0-2 count shouldn't be swinging at something out of above the strike zone like he's going to hit that ball into the 5th deck. I'd like to see him cut that swing down again. And again, I can't wait for Josh Young to get back on my own right. But I thought the young guys in the bullpen were a nice, or they were good last night. Latz and Wynn both kind of good stuff. Wynn was throwing 98, 97, 98.
He hit 98 and 97.
Latz, that last fastball that Latz threw to get the strikeout to get out of the inning, that was 96, 97.
Yeah, I think I texted you. I think it was 97.
And Urena was throwing 98.
Urena 98. Yeah, them boys were they were humming it last night.
And Leclerc too, 96, 97 as well. They're starting to see some of these guys that are going to probably help them in the bullpen at some point this year. Feels like Leclerc has kind of started to even out a little bit, and he had the walk, but it didn't really start to slope down he didn't get started rolling, right? He has the walk, and he could have started rolling downhill, but he didn't. He kept it together, and I thought the bullpen was a really nice, pleasant surprise. Dunning wasn't awful. He just made a couple of really bad pitches. Had a lot of strikeouts last night, so his pitch count got up high real quick, and only able to get him a 4 1/3. But Urena was good out of the pen.
Well,
Latz, Leclerc, Wynn,
Josh,
all three good.
Dane Dunning, I thought the big problem with Dunning last night was when he had 2 times where he had guys 0-2, and he left a fat one over the plate.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about both home runs, but there was another
The Raleigh home run though, that was real
that was like
sad.
made me
You can't
mad.
even.
I'm like, dude, you don't
Yeah,
have the kind of like makeup to be
yeah,
challenging guys.
you gotta be nipping at the corners when you get ahead of a guy like Raleigh 3-2-0-2.
Yeah, and I don't remember who the other one was, but I know he was up 1-2 on another guy, and he got a hit that led, and then the next guy came up and
Yeah, I
jacked
think
the
that was in front of the Julio Rodriguez home run, right? That ended up
yes
being the other
yes
two runs. But
yes
really, after the Raleigh one, none of it really matters because the
mm-hmm.
Rangers had no
No
offense whatsoever to really speak of to really put themselves in a position to get back in that game. So it didn't really matter what Dunning did after the Raleigh home run. I mean, but I think overall, I mean, the strikeouts were good. He only gave up the 4 hits. 3 walks is a little high and 4 1/3, if you ask me. But Dunning, you just got to keep rolling with him and keep going, sending him out there every fifth day because he's kind of in that situation where he's better than what he's been so far this year. And there's been outings that maybe they left him out there a little bit longer to inflate where he's at ERA wise, because I don't think he's a 4.5 plus guy. I think he's more like a 3.5 to 4 kind of guy. So but he's going to continue making turns in the rotation and until something changes. I mean, I would imagine Dunning will be in there.
Well, let's talk about last night. Definitely a lot more fun to talk about, and
Didn't start that way though, did it?
it was it was a little tight game there at the beginning, and I mean it wasn't like they were just blowing up John Gray, but you get guys on base and guys start moving over, and guys start getting on third, and
leadoff triple. I mean, to work around that first inning with Gray, gave up the leadoff triple and only gave up the 1 run the rest of the outing. I haven't really had a whole lot of complaints with Gray his last handful of outings now, 3 outings for sure. He's getting to a point where he's starting to feel a little bit better. I think him too. Strikeout pitcher, got up there in strikeouts, had 7. Really inflated his pitch count, especially after that first inning where he threw, I think, 31 pitches or something like that in the first inning. So, the Rangers did strike out every batter in the Mariners lineup yesterday, I believe. Every guy in the Mariners lineup had at least 1 strikeout, with Julio Rodriguez leading the way with 3. So, we talked about him yesterday being the hero with the home run. Today he had a big fat offer with 3 strikeouts. So, baseball, it gives and it takes away just as fast. And Evan Carter had a big day, home run, triple, couple of RBIs.
both of those outfielders had a big day.
Yeah, and Wyatt Langford. I know they're singles. I know he did have a double too, but I mean,
That's a triple, but fell down.
but really, I mean, he's having competitive at bats. He had, I mean, the one at bat with after Josh Smith had gotten hit, and he just dumps it into right field, gets Josh Smith around third base with 1 out, and puts him in a position to score another run right there, and then Heim hits a ball down into the corner that Haniger kind of, like, he gave it the old went to throw it and it slipped out of his hand. And we've seen that a couple of times in the past couple of weeks now from outfielders that the Rangers have played, and that allows Langford to score there. Langford had a pretty decent game. I mean, the slugging, it's going to come. The power, it's going to come. I still think he needs to open up in counts where he's ahead. And, he doesn't have to be taking 3-1 every time. He doesn't have to be taking 2-0 every time. He can let the hands fly and start, opening up some power. I think that's going to happen for him. But the Rangers, they had a little bit of offense from everybody. Felt a little bit bad for Leody Tavares. Hit a couple of balls over 100 miles an hour and had nothing to show for it. But, Heim, Langford, Smith, those guys got on, get over, Carter. Adolis Garcia had the big home run to start the scoring off. And that was – did you think Julio Rodriguez had that ball?
Yeah, when you watched it, you did it. You couldn't tell until he did the replay. Then you saw it slip out of his glove, but it looked like it disappeared into his glove.
Yeah,
from the live feed, because again, he was like tiny on the screen. But
yeah.
the reaction was the best part. Like, I almost kind of got to give Julio Rodriguez a little credit for like the dramatics.
The Weezerk.
Yeah, it was just funny because he just didn't. He acted like he caught it kind of, and I'm like, dude, come on.
One of the most concerning things of the game, in my opinion, Corey Seager taking that ball off the back shin. They're calling it a contusion. So
if it's not a break, then it's good. We're good.
Well, we'll see. As of right now, it's a contusion. We may, we may have something else here. Tomorrow morning, whenever we're
gonna nope.
No, we'll see what happens. But I didn't want to see that. Not exactly something I was looking for, as far as things I wanted to see happen. But he stayed in the game. It didn't look like he was that interested in what the trainers had to say when he was over there on first base. So we'll see what happens. But I doubt it's anything.
Nope.
Also, did you see that after he when he was in the double play, Lowe was running down the baseline and the pitcher was just standing in the baseline?
Yeah, that happened the other day.
And then Scott Service had the audacity to go out there and ask why it wasn't a double play. Like, did you not watch the same thing we were all watching?
Well, you know what? He was trying to with the umps. Anything can happen these days. Because the other day it was a Rangers play where he tagged the guy and he didn't call him out. Remember, Lorenzen catches the ball, tags the guy before he touches the base. They don't call him out. So I mean,
and then that was also one of those nights where Bochy had lost his challenge in the first inning the night before, so he wasn't going to go to that challenge and lose it early in the game.
Yeah. So it was
that's happened a couple of times recently. I thought that was kind of the case tonight. I thought Jonah Heim threw old buddy out at second base when he tried to steal, but it was the second inning and it was a close enough play where I didn't think Bochy was willing to lose his challenge over that, because he had enough confidence that John Gray was going to work around that, and he did. But yeah, Seager getting hit, I wasn't a big fan of that. But the pitching, John Gray, like we said, a lot of pitches, a lot of hits, a lot of strikeouts, but not a whole lot of damage, and just the one walk. I think that's always when I'm looking at John Gray starts and I see just the one walk, I'm always a fan of that.
Well, I know you're going to be excited to talk about Jonathan Hernandez, who I thought looked pretty good over an inning and a third.
I thought he did too. He just had the one walk where he was just unwilling to give in and not try and hit that outer part of the plate and get that swing on that four-seamer or that two-seamer. But other than that, Jonathan Hernandez, he came in, he got the weak ground ball to get through the inning there in the fifth, and then a clean sixth with just the walk. I'll take that. He had a couple of weak fly balls out to Leody Tavares to start things off. He walked the guy, then he got the next guy to roll over there, and the strikeout there. So So anyways, good stuff from Jonathan Hernandez. So the Singer was sitting 98 tonight. The slider looks to be a really plus pitch right at the moment. And whenever he gains a little bit of confidence in that changeup and he's able to really start blowing guys' minds with that fastball slider changeup combo, hopefully Jonathan Hernandez is back and we're going to see the best of him in these this upcoming year. And Robertson. That guy is just clutch, just fun to watch.
Like everything he throws is
yeah, and I mean everything does that. I mean, he throws four-seamer, cutter, knuckle curve, and he's trying to keep you off balance, and he does a really good job of it. And I mean, 4 strikeouts over 2 innings, and I don't think he threw but what did he throw? 23 pitches, 17 strikes to get 2 innings worth of work. And like we talked about, Grant Anderson did what he needed to do to get him through the through the 9th inning and keep him from having to use Kirby Yates in a non-save situation.
Well, and just we mentioned them earlier, but some great veteran-like contributions from these 2 rookie outfielders, Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford. Carter coming up huge with the back-to-back home run with behind Adolis Garcia. The triple off the funky spot in the wall was really great. But then also, like, I thought I thought Wyatt Langford didn't have a bad at bat. Like every at bat yesterday was like big league. I love the line drive to right field. Barely missed that home run. And it's opposite field, man. I mean, he's in the.
It's going to come in. And I would like to see him let him fly a little bit more, but the at-bats last night were really great.
Yeah,
and you're starting to see. So you're starting to see it from him a little bit too. We got Castillo. We got Castillo and Heaney. It's a 130? 130.
Yeah, getaway. What do they call it? Getaway game.
Yeah, matinee game. I'll be out there for sure. I love the matinee games. Take the bull man out there. He can catch some baseball when there's not a million people out there. He's not a huge fan of the crowds. He likes to sit by himself at the top of the row. And I dig that style. I'm a fan of it. Valley Sports Southwest is where you can get the game. Louis Castillo versus Andrew Heaney. Castillo's 1-4 with a 4.40 ERA. If the Rangers can get to him before he starts putting together some really good performances, I know his last outing was his best one of the season so far. So, we'll see what happens. And I thought Heaney's last outing was definitely his best outing of the season so far. And the Rangers will, finish off this series with Seattle. And the winner of this game will be in first place in the AL West. And if the Rangers win, they can start putting a little bit of distance in between them and the Mariners.
I'm making the call. Rangers take it today.
16-1. That's what Kevin said. So if they don't win 16-1.
Rangers win today. I feel like this is just one of those games that this team, like, you felt like they got a little momentum last night and, kind of maybe shook off a little bit of rust there or whatever's going on with the offense. And I like to think they're going to come out and have a really nice game today and take 2 or 3 for Seattle, get a nice grip on that division. And then we've got some revenge with Cincinnati coming up in the weekend, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. And today was a blast. Yet again, I forgot to tell you guys to check us out on YouTube at the CTH Network, Chilltown Hoops.
We forgot to tell everybody that Monday or Friday of last week we went over 300 episodes.
Yeah, we didn't. We did our 300th episode last
Didn't even
week.
mention it.
Didn't bring it up. Oh, we just get on here and talk about baseball. Also, did we tell them about our TikTok?
Texas Rangers with the boys, all one word.
All one word. So there you go. In case you didn't catch those two, again, Chilltown Hoops is our handle. You can find us at Chilltown Hoops on YouTube, the CTH Network. Again, TX Rangers WTB for all of our social media sites. Also, don't forget for exclusive on YouTube, you can actually get onto the show. You can actually pop on and join the show and chat with us. So, might be worth it just for a month just to get on here and talk with us, with the boys. Also, too, don't forget to check out our website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
All one word.
Yep. That where you can check out our exclusive content down on the farm with the boys. We cover all things Rangers, minor league. Thank you for subscribing on your favorite podcasting network. Thank you to all of our new followers and watchers on the CTH network. For the 300-pound manimal, for the little manimal who is making appearances here and there, this is your boy Kev. We are Texas Rangers with the boys, signing out.